Hi everyone, coming to you with today's daily devotional. Still, we're in the Last Supper, and one of the last things that Jesus does there is he prays for his disciples. So I'm going to read some of that from John 17. And Jesus prays, "I have made your name known to those whom you gave me from the world. They were yours, and you gave them to me, and they have kept your word." Verse 11, "Now I am no longer in the world, but they are in the world, and I am coming to you. Holy Father, protect them in your name that you have given me, so that they may be one as we are one." And then to verse 13. "But now I am coming to you, and I speak these things in the world, so that they may have my joy made complete in themselves. I have given them your word, and the world has hated them because they do not belong to the world, just as I do not belong to the world. I'm not asking you to take them out of the world, but I ask you to protect them from the evil one." And then verse 18, "As you have sent me into the world, so I have sent them into the world." All right, now, in that prayer, one of the words that you hear Jesus saying over and over is the world, right? That we are not part of the world, but we live in it. That Jesus was in it, but he's leaving it. And so if we're going to understand what Jesus is praying for us, we have to understand what the world is, right? And there's a lot of different ways you can take that. One direction that I think we want to avoid is to think of the world just as creation, right? Because who made it? It's God's, right? Yes, there are other forces that have power here, and yet we never want to forget that this is my Father's world, as that song goes. And as the most famous verse in John says, God loves this world. So it's not talking about physical creation. Really, it's more talking about the systems that work in the world around us, right? It's the ideas, it's the isms that take hold of us and pervert our minds and make us think that certain things work, when actually that's what's making things so terrible here. So when you hear the word world, the system might be a better way to understand it. Or if you're from a certain generation, the man, right? It's just whatever it is that's working to keep you down, to oppress you. That's what we are not supposed to be a part of. And that's hard, right? It's easy to just talk about, well, we're set apart and we're not part of the world. But the truth is, we do live in it, right? It surrounds us. It's in the air. And so it's hard for us to avoid some of these ideas. And sometimes we don't even see how ideas about the use of violence or judgment and hatred, that's part of the world. It's not part of what we're called to do as Christians. And so it's always going to be a balancing act, right? To live in this world, but not of it, which is kind of what he's talking about. And yet, we are sent here, right? Just as Jesus was sent into these systems to liberate people, so are we. And the solution is to be connected to God. One of the things that Jesus prayed is that we would be one as Jesus and his Father are one. And so the more that we're connected with God and we look at Jesus who shows us the way to live, the easier we're going to have it as we try and make our way in this hard and difficult world. But we can do it through the power of Jesus and through the Spirit he has given us. So, good luck out there.